Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. My name's Ben Mosby. Thank you for joining us for our weekly wrap up on Second Chance Sunday, and a very happy Easter to you, hence the ears. We have got a brilliant lineup of goodies for you on the show. Our top 10, of course, this week featuring deals from Monday Makers, Launch Party, and of course some brand new launches as well. So if you missed them, stay tuned as we delve into our top 10. We kick off this week at number 10 with a deal from Launch Party on Tuesday. What this was a fantastic deal on the Aqua markers, and you're getting the opportunity to pick this up once again. Core product from our watercolour range that you are getting for half price. If you're a Platinum member, you're going to get the 48 set for just £32 or $40. You can look at it as half price, or you can say, well, the first two I'm showing you, you're paying for. The second two, you're getting for free. In this set, the Botanical Florals, you're going to get 12 fantastic pens. They're dual-ended, of course, don't forget. So you've got your ultra-fine nib one end, and then the other end, you've got that beautiful flexible brush nib, so you can get some really expressive strokes with these. And whether you take these into your watercolour card and draw out the colour, or, like you see our guys do a lot of the time, taking them down onto their glass mat and then kind of making their own palettes with these, you can also do that too. And when you take this as an example, these 12 colours you're going to receive here, you can mix and match these colours up, create your own new colours. You can create all of the gradients of colours from the 12 that you've got there. And when you consider you're not just getting 12, we're going to give you the Botanical Floral. You've got all of your basic primary colours within this set as well, and that's where you stop paying. So in here, think of all of your beautiful reds and yellows and greens and blues. Those 12 colours you're going to be getting in that set, and then you don't pay for the vivid nature. Once again, 12 colours you're going to get in this set. Again, if I flip that around, you can see the choice of colours that you're going to be getting there, from sunset through your topaz, marine, desert, fawn, and then your final set is another set of 12. This one is your Sketch Essentials, and same again here, 12 pens. These are the colours that you are going to be receiving. So across that collection, 48 colours for just £32 or $40. If you've used these before, a great opportunity to stock up on a great set of Aqua markers. If you've never tried them, maybe today is the day you jump in and give these a go. Whichever way, they're £32 Platinum, $40 if you're in the US and you're a Platinum member, and that is this week's number 10. This week's number 9, we go back to Monday for Monday Makers with Debbie for a brilliant deal on a collection which I think has helped people a lot, our paper pleating collection. We heard from lots of people in that show saying they found paper pleating quite a difficult thing to do, quite a fiddly thing to do, and with this kit we've managed to make it nice and easy, and the deal is exceptional. The kit also nice and easy to work with, as you're going to see with Debbie with her demo from Monday.
So what is paper pleating? Paper pleating is a really old-fashioned form of art in pleating paper, which means you put a mountain and valley fold into it. We used to do it at school, used to make rosettes, but that was pretty much where it stopped, making rosettes. We've now made it really simple, where we've given you templates to actually make all these different shapes. Now these templates come in all different shapes and sizes, and we have loads for you as well. I thought I would do, I know it's sort of not near sort of Christmas or winter, but I thought I'd do the snowflake because it's not one we see very often demonstrated. So I'm just going to take one of these. Now we've got them in 3 different sizes, lots of different sizes that you get all these templates on, however you want to do them. So I'm going to take this first one. And also you can actually, we cut them into a lot of plain papers. And Ben, I was thinking, let's bring in some pattern papers, because they're the right weight, I think, to be able to pleat. This is a 180 GSM, and I've just used this out of one of Sarah's, I think it was Winter Wonderland one, but you can use it whichever ones you want. So I want to cut 2 of these. With every single one of these, it gives you a template that shows you where your lines go, and your lines are where they go on your embossing folder. So when you've cut this out, you don't want to put it this way because your lines are going that way, so that would go this way where your lines are running. So nice and simple. Also tells me I need 2 of them. Now because of my weight of paper, I'm just going to fold this over, and we're going to cut 2 at the same time, because it's pointless cutting 2 different ones. We might as well do 2 of the same. So all I'm going to do is, and in fact, yeah, that's fine. I was going to put it down so where the pencil line isn't seen very well, but it doesn't really matter. because we can cut the pencil line away. So we're just going to go round and make those marks all the way around there.
And did you say, so 180 is pretty much the best sort of weight to go with?
Yes, so 120, 160, 180. Once you start getting up to the sort of 200s and 240s, that makes it, you can do it, Ben, but I would say where the embossed lines are, you might have to reinforce them with your scoring board, just so you get a bit more stretch into your material, because when you're going into a thicker material, it can crack the card if you're not embossing that line properly. But yeah, so I would say that's definitely a good weight to go with. So once we've done that, I'm just going to cut those out. So 2 at a time. I'm making sure that I really hold that. So where we go round our lines, we're not moving our cardstock. So I'm going to go straight into there and just cut away there. So nice and easy. And the best thing about this is that you can do it 2 pieces at once.
Yeah.
And I would say if you're not very good with scissors, then you can use your craft knife.
Okay.
You can also emboss the lines in, Ben, because we can emboss stencils into our as a template.
Yeah, a lot of people love to do that now.
Yeah,
don't they,
a lot of people
Gemini?
do. So Debbie Robinson loves it. She likes any template, she likes to emboss them. For me, I never think you can see the lines very well in the studio. Because the lines are quite bright, you have to sort of tip it side by side to be able to see where the lines are. Where a pencil line, you can't miss, can you? You're just going to cut that around where you need it to be. Now you can round, they're slightly rounded around the edges, but actually I quite like the pointy edges. So I'm not worrying about making them rounded around the edges. We're just going to use the points as they are. And it's just a case, I'm going directly onto that line. So when we cut it all out, you'll find that you won't have, you won't be able to see the line.
And is that the 6-inch snips you're using there?
Yes, it is, yes.
So again, is that just because they're the nearest ones, or are they the best ones to?
So for this shape, so I think depending on your shape, because I quite like using the smaller scissors. I like the little snips, more so than I've ever done before, because I don't normally use them a lot, but I quite like them for any sort of fussy cutting. But this one feels like the right size to just cut those pieces out.
They're just back in stock as well, those 6-inch scissors.
Oh, that's cool. I heard you say the other day about Debbie Robinson having them in her car.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, and I thought, how have I not thought of that? There's so many times that I've needed scissors in the car. I thought, I need some.
I think she pretty much has scissors in every room of her house and now in the car as well. So she's
so the other place I use a pair to cut my hair with.
You cut your own hair?
Yeah. I cut my fringe.
Ah, right.
Because it always grows too quick before my next appointment, so I always cut my fringe.
Yeah. They are brilliant. I've got 2 pairs of the 6-inch snips, and one upstairs, one downstairs in the kitchen drawer, because I think once you've tried them, you'd never go back to another pair of scissors.
Very true.
Because they're the best in the world.
They certainly are. Because they work.
Yes.
Right, now we've got 3 embossing folders for here, and you just have to work out which one goes in which. So I'm going to show you, because earlier I was having a play with these. If you put it into this large one, which you would think it's slightly off, the lines are slightly off, because what we want to do, we want to create more lines. And if I put it there, you can see, let's put it there, this one is slightly off. So it means your smaller one is going to work on here. So we're going to pop that there. And each one should line up with a line. There we go.
Right.
So I know that's absolutely perfect. So we're going to place that inside and we're going to line that up. So just looking where we can see it, line each side. So I'm looking this point, then lining up the next one, making sure, yep, that's perfect. So once you've done that, then you can run it through. And all you need to do is sandwich it between your 2 cutting plates. So your 2 white cutting plates for your Gemini, and run it through.
Will they go through the MIDI?
They will go through the MIDI.
Nice.
So with the MIDI, you just need the shim that comes with the MIDI to put it through.
Good stuff.
So yeah, perfect for that. So once you've done that, let's move these out of the way, like so.
Our Debbie's just messaged, she's watching, saying brilliant, brilliant scissors for multi-uses in craft and beyond.
I love that, it's so funny. Hello, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
See, she's tuning in to watch Ali. That's what it is, isn't it?
Everybody is. We'll say a few more hellos in just a bit.
So we're mounting and valley folding now. So it's as simple as that. It's just a case of going from one way to the other. You know, like we used to when we was at school. Did you ever used to make sort of rosettes and pleat your paper when you were younger?
I think, yeah, way back when. It's such a long time ago, Debbie, I can barely remember. But Jessica's just said, funnily enough, I haven't pleated anything paper since my Girl Scout days. It was the kind of thing that you would do, like in the Scouts or the Cubs, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All the brownies, yeah, absolutely.
That's very true, very true. The beavers they're saying about. So beavers was before cubs. So that would be like rainbows before brownies.
Yeah. Or where I was from back in Brixton, but I've told this tale, I'm not going to go into it, the Anchor Boys.
I've never heard of that.
I think it was a seaside thing.
So I can see, and that's probably just my cutting, I've got one little bit that's too long. So all I'm going to do is go down that side and we're just going to trim that piece away, like so. And then that way we're all in line with all that piece, you can see there. Perfect. So once you've done that, then we're going to bend this in half. So you want to find your midpoint. So I'm just going to use my glass mat, sort of roughly pop those there. And then that middle section there, I'm going to bend in half. Like so. And all we're going to do then is really squeeze those together. Now this is why I'm saying if you use thicker cardstock, that would be really hard to put those two pieces together because you're sort of squeezing in a lot of your card. And then all we're going to do is I'm going to take, I'm seeing which are, so this side's got the bigger piece, so I'm actually going to move that to the other side because, I'll show you in a second, the middle section has a bigger amount for me to stick to. So let's just do this one. So this whole piece here, I can use my glue. So, use my tacky glue. And we're just going to stick that together.
And this is the glue of choice. We talked about this earlier, isn't it? But tacky glue, you say, is like the way forward with this type of craft.
Yeah, absolutely. Tacky glue is exactly what it says. It sort of sticks quite quickly. You just have to hold it for a few seconds for it to grab. Less is more. You don't want to smother it and use loads of glue, which is why I like to use my little bottle. So if you can get your little bottles, they come in packs of 3. You'll find them on the website with the little pin. And you'll notice I always have mine upside down. I always put it in a little pot where my pin doesn't get lost as well. But you always want to make sure that your pin is submerged in the glue. Because when it's in the glue, it means that it's not going to go rusty. It'll always have that glue into place. So I'm just going to leave that out because we want to do a bit more glue and just want to make sure that that's stuck. So let me just a little bit more squeeze and there we go. I think we're pretty much. So that gives us half of one. So I've already done one, which we glued earlier. So you can see once it's finished, that's exactly the same size, even though that looks smaller. I just want to make sure that that glue is holding before I start to fan it out. Because then once you start fanning it out, you get sort of that bigger amount. Then what you do is put the two together.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And then that creates a snowflake. So all we're going to do here is use our glue again. And we're just going to glue those two pieces together. Oh, I seem to have a blockage, so let me just pop my pin back in there. There we go. And then we should be able to stick those. Yes, there we go.
Perfect.
So nice and simple. Oh, I've probably got, it seems to be a bit in there that wants to keep getting stuck, so I must have a dry bit of glue in there, and then it keeps coming to the foreground. Put some on there. So once we've done that, we're just going to hold these two together. Now you could use a hot glue gun, which would be perfect, but I'm just going to use my, I like my tacky glue. So stick that part together. Once that starts to take hold, we can pop our other piece together. Like so. You could also use tape pens if you wanted to. If you wanted that quicker stick, then you could easily use your tape pens. So I like tacky glue because once it's stuck down, it's not going to come apart.
That's it, yeah.
So just holding that just for a few seconds. I mean, ideally, you want to sort of leave tacky glue for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then that will evaporate and make it a bit more stickier. So that gives you your snowflake. We can manipulate that a bit more when it's fully dry. I don't want to do too much with it because I don't want it to come apart. We want that to stick. So while that's sticking, and actually if I turn it over, if you wanted the pattern side, you can have the pattern as well. Yeah. And that's our sort of what we would class as our B side. And then all you would need to do then, I can't believe we've actually got this offer on where you've got the little punches as well.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
It is, yeah, you're getting 3 different sizes. These are so usable, and you're just going to use these to go onto your middle section here, which is going to pop that all together. I do need a little bit more glue in there.
It's a sensational price because really all you're missing from the original launch, if you like, is the paper pad. But think how many paper pads you've got in your craft room right now, and what the opportunity, like Debbie's showing you here, to get all those different papers out and create some really unique projects with some fantastic papers for all sort of seasons and all people and all projects, right?
Yeah, absolutely, for everything. Yeah, they're so good. And I'm just going to show you, I didn't show you the decoration, so I'm just going to hold, while I'm holding that in place, let me find that decoration because that was really beautiful. Here it is. So using that snowflake, look how gorgeous that is. I mean, that's amazing. So that's using 2 of the smaller ones. So like this one that I've used there. And then the middle section is the larger one. And it's just 3 of them that are sort of sandwiched together. And that is how you do them. There we go.
This week's number 8, we go back to Monday Makers, and we had a brilliant deal on the small guillotine. Now, the deal itself is amazing because you're only paying $19.99 if you're platinum, $31.99, but we then add in for free some linen card, which I'll show you in just a second. These are just a craft room must, aren't they? If you want to have all the tools to be able to create professionally, card making, you want to make sure that you've got a guillotine in your life. I know we talk about the paper trimmer, but to have a guillotine there as well is an absolute must, I think. This one, call it the small guillotine. I like to call it, it's not exactly small, it's portable. You know, if you've maybe got the larger guillotine with the extending arm there, this is a perfect one to have potentially on the go. It is, your base is 6 1/4 by 8 3/4. And what is so lovely about this again is you have got that super sharp blade, hardened stainless steel blade, which cuts like a hot knife through butter. Even if you're trying to cut like the tiniest little sliver off your cardstock, you're going to get a precise, perfect cut each and every time. Nice safety features built into this, of course, with that blade being super sharp. You've got your finger safety guard in there. But what's so lovely about this, and why I talk about this being, you know, like a really handy guillotine to have if you're going somewhere you want to take some crafting bits and pieces with you. You've got a guillotine, but also a scoreboard built into this one as well. So it's kind of a 2-in-1, if you like. So you've got your integrated scoreboard design in there, and you've even got your little score tool, which is built into the base there. So you can take that out, do your cutting, do your scoring, and whether you measure in metric or imperial, you've got the measuring guide there too. So that price is brilliant, but wouldn't it be nice if we're giving you a guillotine that we gave you some cardstock as well? Oh, go on then. Just as it's you, come on, as it's Easter Sunday, just for you guys, we're going to give you the beautiful linen cardstock from the Majestic Unicorn collection. Really stunning colours in here, and you're getting 6 different colours, 4 sheets of each, giving you your 24 sheets. 250 GSM, and as I say, you are not paying a single penny for this. The only thing I will say with this particular collection, I know we do not have a huge amount of stock, so if you're in the market for a fantastic guillotine, best in the biz as far as I'm concerned, and you want some free linen cardstock as well, I would get that one in your basket sooner rather than later. It's your small guillotine with your free A4 linen card. $19.99 is your platinum price here in the UK, $31.99 if you're in the US, and that is this week's number 8. This week's number 7 are partial 3D embossing folders. Again, another brilliant deal from Monday Makers, and these really are great because you get this brilliant 3D emboss, leaving you a little bit of space to pop in your own sentiment, so you can really personalize the embossing folders. They're excellent as well because you've got ones for specific occasions and ones for specific times of the year too. And here is Debbie from Monday Makers showing you how you can use them.
partial embossing folders are truly lovely, and I love the fact that you've got that space to put your sentiment. But what if you want to stamp a sentiment and you've got a raised image? So the best thing to do is to stamp first, and I'm going to show you how you can stamp your sentiment first and line it up when you've got your stamping platform. So I'm using the swirling florals. I do love this one. It is so pretty, and it's just got this really lovely edge on there. So the first thing we want to do is to have our embossing folder and our piece of card, which I've cut to size. Now they're 4 by 6, the embossing folders, so I've cut this 1/4 of an increment shorter, and that's going to give me my perfect size to go straight inside my embossing folder. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. Now this is our newer stamping platform. It's got a sticky base on it. It means that I can place my cardstock right down where I need to put it, so position it into place, which I absolutely love. You don't need any magnets, you don't need to tack it down with anything else. It's just going to work perfectly. Then what we're going to do is take our embossing folder and see where we want our embossing folder to be, and then we want to line it up. So first of all, let me just talk you through how to know which side to use of your embossing folder. So I always say, because we're only using white cardstock, it doesn't really matter, but because I'm stamping onto it, I want the embossed side to be on the front. So when you open up your folder, literally just slide your hands along it. I can tell that this side here is just indented. This side here is risen. Now it's the risen side that you want to be the back of your folder. This will be your front. So this is the front of my folder. So I'm going to place this just over the top here, like so, and line it up. That way I can see exactly where I need to stamp. So I've got these die and stamp sets here, which are the best birthday wishes. You'll find them on the website. And I'm just going to use the sentiments that come with there. So I'm just going to stamp the happy birthday on this one. So the happy birthday, I know I'm going to roughly sort of pop where I need it to be, which is about there. I'm going to lay that down like so, making sure that's straight. And then I'm just going to pop that over the top.
Okay.
And then you can see where it needs to be. So actually, I think I can come up a little bit onto the right hand side. That will do fine. And that's how you line it up. So use your embossing folder to line up your stamp before you stamp. So I'm just going to use black ink to stamp that out.
Good to reiterate again with the embossing folders. I can't remember who I was on with the other day, but we had embossing folders, and I just sort of went in a bit gung-ho, as I always did, and ended up with a deboss instead of an emboss.
Yes.
Because I hadn't done it the right way around. So it's useful to be reminded of that, which isn't the worst thing in the world.
And actually, Ben, sometimes the deboss is really lovely.
Yeah.
You just sort of decide. But yes, so if we was to do that, then it would just act differently. It would just be debossed inside, and then you've got your embossed side. So we've got that done, which now I know. Now we've got that. Let's pop that to the side. I now know we can place that into our folder. So this is going to be the front. And as we put that in, you'll be able to see that is going to match up perfectly exactly where I want it. So you can see we've got our happy birthday in there, right where it needs to be. Now obviously if you're using a die cut, you would just use a die cut to use that and put it where it is. But I thought it was nice to show you where where you could actually put your stamp set down. Now they're 3D enfolders. What you do need for that is your plastic shim, your magnetic shim, then your card and your embossing folder, and then your top plate on top of that. Now if you're using the Gemini MIDI, all you need is the shim that comes with it, and it's the shim with the folder through your Gemini MIDI, and then it's embossed. It's brilliant.
I absolutely love this tool, says Karen. I was even able to stamp some hardboard, apparently.
Yes, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Now look at that level of embossing. I mean,
love it.
That is incredible, isn't it?
You could almost just stick that on the front of a card without any colour, couldn't you?
I mean, how nice would that be? Yeah. And actually, I'm going to give you a little heads up. How nice would this be for a Sympathy card?
Ah, yes.
We might have the Sympathy stamps back in stock.
Launch party. Launch party tomorrow. Tomorrow. Launch party.
I had to tell you that because they just sold out and you absolutely love them. So if you didn't get the Sympathy stamps, they are in tomorrow. They are.
Launch party.
Now I'm going to use pigment ink pads. You know they're my favourite. I
Yeah.
make no bones about it. I absolutely love them. They give that chalky finish. So I've got my pink tulip, spring meadow and grasshopper. And I've got just my ink daubers as well. I love the ink daubers. So I'm just using those to put onto my embossed image. Now what's brilliant about it, because they're 3D, they give a really good sort of deep, an emboss, which means when you come to laying down colour, you don't have to, you can just be quite sparing where you're just tickling the top of the card and catching that embossed detail. Super, super easy to do.
I must just ask you this question as well, because this came in earlier. I think it was when you were doing your first demo. So Michelle Moore, if you're still, hopefully you're still watching. I didn't ask it because obviously Debbie wasn't using them at the time. She just says about the partial embossing folders. She says, I have them all and was wondering if you can put colour on them using your tri-blend markers. So is it, can you colour over the top of the emboss as well?
Absolutely. When I've done this demo, I'll show you, I'll do a quick one where I just emboss it again.
Okay.
And then I'll show you just how easy it is to colour onto them. And actually, it's one of my favourite things to do is colour with alcohol markers onto embossing folders, because you just follow the emboss line.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure I've seen some of our lovely viewers comment saying they find it easier to colour on an emboss.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. All I would say, it takes a bit more time.
Yeah.
That took me, not even a minute to colour that rose in. Now, if I was to colour that with my alcohol markers, it would probably take me maybe 3 or 4 minutes to colour the whole image in. So that's the difference. And I think it's just a case of being aware of that. If you've got time to spend, I would definitely be colouring it in with my alcohol markers. If you haven't got too much time, then use your ink pads like this, because you get a brilliant lay down of colour.
Absolutely. Michelle's come back. I'm glad you're still watching, Michelle. She says, when you colour, could you show it? She says, can you show using watercolours?
Watercolours? Yeah, you could do it with watercolour. I can do that as well. So with watercolours, you just need to make sure that you emboss onto watercolour cardstock. That's the only difference. And obviously we've got alcohol cardstock. I love the fact that we just call it now alcohol card. Because it's so simple now. You haven't got to worry about calling it Nina or anything like that. It's just alcohol card, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
So I like that we simplify everything, because we have so many things. It's just nice to not have to think about what you really need.
And I think that was a point of confusion for a while, wasn't it? People just couldn't get the Nina name into their head, could they? So
absolutely.
This is brilliant, Debbie. Brilliant.
We've done that, Ben. Now, because I've used the pigment ink pads, I mean, look how pretty that looks.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
it's
pretty.
just beautiful. We can now use our heat embossing technique as well.
Oh, yes.
Because we've got those pigment ink pads, and it is just one of my favourite things to do. I think it never ever gets boring, and it looks so beautiful. And if you triple emboss this, I won't, because it will take a long time because we've got a bigger area, but it looks amazing, like really amazing.
How long do you have after you've laid down that ink to then add that powder? Do you have to do it fairly
so the pigment ink pads stay wet for quite a long time, actually. They will eventually dry, but it will stay a little bit tacky. I would say you've got a good 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So it's not like within the next minute.
No, you don't have to be quick with that at all. So you'll see it's sort of doled it down a bit, because it's put a layer of powder over the top. And then all we're going to do is just use our heat gun and just heat that up. So it starts reacting quite quickly, and what it does is melts that powder and just creates this beautiful shine over the top. And the reason I wanted to do it on this folder is because when you do one layer of powder on top, it creates almost like a texture. It sort of bubbles a little bit, so it looks like dew on the flowers. Yeah. And it works really well with this embossing folder, because it's like got a texture to it. You'll see it when I show it to the light, because it is, honestly, you'll want to do it on all your floral embossing folders now. It's so lovely. So even though, like, I do love a triple resist, I like this effect because it looks like natural dew has just gone onto your flowers. So if I turn this around and show it from the front, look at this.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean.
So
early morning
look
dew.
at that. It's like a hammered look, but it gives that dew. Look on the leaves.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that? It's just a stunning way to be able to create actually very quickly, Ben, a beautiful embossing folder technique. And then all we're going to do is, because I've done black writing, I've just got a little black card that we're just going to stick it onto. So I'm just going to use my tape pen, and we're going to pop that on there. And then I will then just grab some watercolour card. In fact, I'll let it go back to Ben. I'll grab some watercolour card, and then we will we'll do a little bit of watercolouring as well. Okay, right, let's just very quickly show the two different ones, so then we cover them all. But there's our finished card onto the black.
Yes.
Then I've got watercolour and our Nina cardstock as well. So we're going to put both in. So let's just place this one in and run this through.
This is for you, Michelle.
Yes, we're not going to do full demos, just want to show you how it looks and how easy it is to do. So whether you're doing them with your pigment ink pads, your watercolours or your alcohol inks, you can do those, whatever you decide, it's up to you.
This week's number 6 go out to Launch Party for Tuesday. Now, normally on Launch Party, we're looking at previous launches. However, this week we had a brand new launch with the character edge dies. Super cute, these. Think teddy bears, think bunny rabbits, think cute cats as well. And Debbie did a brilliant demonstration with these. Perhaps not how you would think they would actually be used. She did something a little bit different. And here is her demo from Tuesday.
How beautiful are the edgeable dies? So I'm going to use the bear hugs. I just love that one. I think these can be used all year round for your cutesy card, but also your adults cards. And I thought I'd make a little gift box today. So it's going to be a really lovely one. I've got 2 pieces of card. So I've got a piece of linen cardstock. So I'm using just some pink linen card, which we're going to cut it into. But I also want to cut it into this base as well. Now I've measured this to 9 1/4 by 5 1/4. And we're actually going to, this is our box lid. I will show you our box base in a second. So I'm going to make sure that on my scoreboard, I'm scoring it on my box lid side. And we're just going to score this at 1 inch all the way round. Now I always like to use my scoring tool twice going down. And that's just going to stretch the fibres of the card and make it super easy to fold and score, or to score and to fold. So just turn that round one more. We're going to just place that going all the way down there, and that's going to make our box lid. So I wanted to show you how I did that. Then we're just going to turn that over. I always turn the largest piece of card over onto the smallest piece of card. That means that even the long side will keep it dead straight. It won't be curved. If you curl this one over, it makes it a little bit wobbly. So always start with the largest piece of card over the smaller piece, and then you get that really nice straight edge. And then one more, we've got this side to do. And then with any box lids, all you would do is go round and just snip like so, like that, and take the corner out. And you do that all the way round.
Yeah.
Now, I've got one ready, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to show you how to die cut into that box. So the first thing I want to do, I want to find sort of where I want to put that. So let me just take, I've got some tape that's come off on the back, so we're just going to remove that, pop that back onto the sheet. I always put this on the back of my pack, then that way none of your paper can go on it and take the stickiness off. And then we're just going to place this one. I'm going to do it roughly, so we've got a little bit of leeway, because what I want to do is cut the aperture out the top of our card. So I'm going to put it down, so we've got about sort of 3/4 of an inch here. I'm just looking at the sides. If you wanted to measure and get it precise, then you can absolutely do that. So let's just take some tape. Now, because I know I'm cutting away this side, we're just going to place our tape on each side there. And then all we're going to do is pop that through our Gemini. So I'm using my larger Gemini plates. You could probably fit that actually on your Gemini Junior plates, but it's a little bit long, so you might have to sort of rotate it.
Yes.
Offer that into the mouth of your machine. It's just a regular thin cutting die, so whatever your platform is for whatever machine you have, just pop that through. And then bring that one out. Now I always do the lid part first, because I also want to do an overlay. So the first thing we want to do is to take this one off, like so. And then we're going to bring in our trimmer. I love the trimmer. It's one of my favourite things. It's just a brilliant kit to have, the trimmer.
And it sits nicely alongside the guillotine, doesn't it?
It's just amazing beside the guillotine. So I know that where this line is, I'm just going to place that there From that line, I can then just go in, cut where I want it to cut.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it about 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit bigger, because we're going to put an overlay on that anyway. And just bring that in. And then we can see exactly where that's going to go, and that's going to cut your beautiful aperture out.
And that's the superpower, isn't it, of the paper trimmer, more than, because you couldn't do that with the guillotine.
You couldn't do that with the guillotine. No, you couldn't do that. And there you go. So you've got your aperture of your card straight away, like so.
Fab.
Then what we're going to do is take the pink piece of card, and I want to do this as well. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to place that, lost my die then, there it is, just over the top. Pop that on there, and then we're going to cut that out again. Now, you've already seen me cut it, so I'm not going to cut that one. And then what I'm going to do is bring the one that we've already got in. So we've got this one. And then I'm going to bring this one in, Ben, because I've already cut this one. But can you see the Dream Big Little one?
Oh, yeah.
Now, that stamp set is out of our Tiny Treasures.
Tiny Treasures,
yes,
with the rainbow.
Yes, and it fits perfect
Love
on
that.
these. So all of those will go along there. So all you need to do is stamp that Dream Big Little one I've put on there. So this could be a new baby card, a new baby little box, gift box, and it's just going to look super cute. So this is then going to overlay on the top, and I've just used some nice sparkly ribbon on the top just to finish that off. Now, the other thing I've done is if I bring in the base, so you can see I've used a 12 by 12 piece of card, and I've cut this one. Let me give you the measurements. This one is 11 1/4 inches by 7 1/4 inches.
Yes.
But this time I've scored it at 2 inches, but just please remember when you're making a box, and I always tell people this, because at the bottom here we've got box lid, box base. Now, the way I do it is turn my board round. So when you turn your board round, because I always like to butt up against the left-hand side and then score. Because I'm right-handed, it just works better. So if you forget to do your board and you're still doing the same thing, you're going to actually create 2 lids, and then they won't fit together. So that's how the actual box works on your scoreboard.
Brilliant.
So let's pop these together, but first of all, what I want to do with this one, I'm going to bring in some papers, and again, I've used these from the, what are these from? The Tiny Treasure,
yeah,
the 6x6
same again, isn't it?
pad. Now, what I have done as well, Ben, and I wanted to show this because the Tiny Treasures only comes with a 6x6 pad, and you can see my box is bigger than the 6x6.
Okay.
So, and it's not really that noticeable, but look, I've got a seam going down there, so you can add extra on to make it bigger.
Would not have noticed that if you hadn't said.
So I've done exactly the same with these strips.
Cool.
So you would not think they're 6x6 strips, and all I've done is then just added a piece onto the end, and then you can't see it when it's joined together. So we've got some strips. I'm just going to measure these out because one's shorter. So the shorter one, no, I think it's the longer one. It's this one over here. It's not even that one. Let's pop that one there. Yeah, so that's the shorter one. That's going to go on the inside there just to stop any sort of just light space.
Yeah.
So that's going to go on there, but we're also going to put our sides on, and then we've got our side panels here. So I'm just going to stick these ones together.
Loads of people loving this collection already. Thank you for all the lovely comments coming through. Great to use with the craft card, says Sadasa. Yeah, nice to see the craft card in action, actually, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
And also, Imani saying, yes, these edge dies will pair brilliantly with the Tiny Treasures collection.
Yes, perfect for that.
It's nice, isn't it, that we have like a lot of collections where you can see that sort of crossover, whether it be papers that work nicely with dies from another collection, you know, or in this case, you know, dies that might work with other dies from other collections. There's plenty of crossover with all of our collections, so do have a little bit of a think. V says, these animals are so adorable. And just generally a lot of love for this set. Rebecca saying that these dies are so cute. I think cute is a good way to describe these, Debbie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was working with Leanne a couple of weeks ago when we were off. And she actually said that it's not an accident that things are working together. They're thinking a lot about what they're bringing out and working them in with those pieces. It's a bit like the, and sorry I'm telling you about them because they literally sold out, but the balloon sentiments.
Oh, yeah.
They come with a paper pad. That paper pad works really well with the little treasures collection, and that's going to work well with this as well. So lots of them are going to work really well together. So all I've done here is I've created a little bit of acetate because if you're making it into a gift box, you don't want anything to fall out. So we're just using a little poker tool to take the backing off of our red liner tape. And I always put red liner tape onto acetate. I think because it's super strong, it's just, you know, it's going to hold it in place.
I think this is one of my favourite uses of dies like this, when you see them cut into box tops. But they look nice on the edges of
They look
cards.
nice on the edge of anything, but
Yeah.
when you put them into a box and make that aperture, it's just really lovely, isn't it? Can you imagine having a box like this and putting little booties in
I
there
know,
or
it'd be
something
so
like
cute,
that? Really
yeah.
cute. Yeah, really cute. So then we're going to pop this one into place. Now, if you wanted to make sure you're precise, then make sure you use a wet glue to stick it on with. I quite like the tape pens, so I'm just going to use the tape pens to pop it into place. And also, I'm not really that fussed. Not like I used to be. I used to be quite fussed. That it'll go a bit wonky. Doesn't matter now.
No, it's character.
Absolutely. Now, I'm offsetting this slightly. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't purposely done. It was an accident because I didn't do the right size when I cut it.
Okay.
But it didn't matter. It just meant that I had a little offset, so it looks like a shadow on the back there with the little bears. So actually it worked quite well.
Yeah.
And like always, I always burnish onto the back to make sure that's really well stuck down and that's not going to come apart. So we've got our box lid, we've got our box base, and all we're going to do is, I've got a little bow as well which matches my ribbon, and we're just going to pop our box together.
Very popular for this. Don't forget the showstopper option is obviously all the brand new dies, and then you've got the tricolour aquas, and then all of that beautiful cardstock as well included, which is your luxury cardstock, precious metals. You should really be paying an extra £23 or $30 for all of that, but if you go for the bundle, it's just an extra 10. And what's so lovely about this, again, it's not as if, you know, we've just kind of thrown in stuff that some people won't use. It's like core cardstock, which everyone will want, and then those aqua markers as well, which again, everybody will want. And if you've never tried them before, it's a great opportunity to have a go with those markers. All of that for £24 platinum, or $28.80 if you're in the US and you're a platinum member. But do go quickly because we don't have a huge amount of stock. This has come together so nicely and so quickly.
How nice.
I just really love it.
And actually, Ben, like if we put a blue piece of cardstock to this instead of pink, you've got it for a boy or a girl. So it doesn't matter what colour you use. The bears are just going to work with whatever you put it with. And I wanted to do something quite simplistic where you don't have to do anything to the dies, or you can colour the dies in, you could use your ink pads, you could use your pens. So the choice is yours. Whatever medium you love, then use it. And my other big top tip is when you're using a tape pen, make sure, especially with the box lid, that you massage that glue in, because if you heat it up, what that's going to do is make it stickier and tacky, and it won't come apart. If you don't massage it, because it's a box and the lid is going on and off, it is going to make your box come apart. So make sure that you do all that, and then we can put our rainbows the right way. Our box is going to go on. We've got a little bow there. Oh, and I've forgotten to put our strip along there. So we're just going to pop our strip along the bottom, and then a little bow just to finish it off. So one more piece of tape. So that will go just along to there, like so. And then our little bow to finish off just under there. How cute is that little box?
This week's number 5 are the Illustrators, our 48-piece selection. Lots of our pens making the top 10 this week, and for very good reason. A, because they're immense, and B, the prices that we've been doing this week, simply sensational. 48-piece collection of the Illustrators that you're getting for £80 or $100. Now, unlike the aqua markers that we saw a little bit earlier on in the countdown, these, of course, are your alcohol markers, and quite simply, some of the very best that you're going to find. If you want to be able to start colouring like a pro, illustrating really nice and easily, these really are the pens to go for. Dual-ended once again with a fine nib on one end, and on the other end you've got this amazing Japanese brush nib. And you guys know, if you've been seeing the shows recently, I've started colouring with the Illustrators, love them. The experience is like no other. You know, our tri blends are brilliant, the classiques are brilliant. These are literally like colouring with a feather. The expressiveness that you can get with these is incredible, and I urge you to try these out. You've got a great saving on them today, and you're getting colours right across the range here. The 12 that you're getting in your natural landscape, if I just flip that around, you can see the sort of colours you're going to be receiving in this set. And what's works nice across the 4 colours once again. You will get kind of light, medium and dark blends from the different colour ranges. So once again, you have got the opportunity to be ultra expressive and do all of your blending techniques. Your coastal seascape. So within this one, as the name sort of suggests here, you're going to be seeing more of your blues and greens and browns. So again, if you're wanting to create that kind of coastal seascape design and all those kind of things, you've got all of these different colours here, again, across a whole range of different colours. Next up is your urban cityscape. So once again, if I flip that around, you can see the sort of colours that you're going to be looking at there. Handy to have those brown greys in there. You saw actually Ali from our Evesham store using a lot of those earlier in the week with the little character stamps to use when you were sort of colouring white. She was using these quite a lot in that little demo. And then you've got your figures and portraits too. Again, super handy if you do want to go into the world of colouring, doing skin tones, doing hair tones as well. Lots of your sort of peaches and lots of your kind of tan colours in there too. So it's 48 pens across the range. Huge saving on that today. If you're a Platinum member, £80 or $100. And that is this week's number 5. This week's number 4, a back in stock. On launch party on Tuesday, we saw the return of the With Sympathy stamps. These were hugely popular when we first launched them, and they sold out very, very quickly indeed. It's one of those collections, isn't it, that you don't obviously want to use a lot, but it's nice to have stamp sentiments there for that time that you do need to make a sympathy card. But as we explored and chatted about, there's lots of other ways that you can use these across other occasions as well. And not only did you get the stamps in this deal, but those amazing special effects papers as well. And once again, here is Debbie from Launch Party taking you through a little demonstration.
Right, what I really wanted to show you in this demo is the fact that this is what I had left from bits of my cardstock that I cut up and used in my demos. So I thought, well, I don't want to waste these. So we're going to do a bit of paper piecing onto our card. So I've got myself a 4x6 card blank. And then I've used a 1/4 inch increment smaller to make it slightly smaller, so I've still got the edge of my card. So it worked out at 3 3/4 by 5 3/4.
Yeah.
So we're going to use our papers just to decorate. So the best thing I think to do here is using your tape pen, or you could use your adhesive sheets. Oh, just pop that there. Is to just put tape on, cover it over the top.
Okay.
So you could use wet glue, but it would dry a bit quicker. So having your tape pen like this, you don't need to have it completely over because you will get enough to go around. I'm just going to make sure all my edges are covered as well. So it's just a case of making sure we've caught all that space around the edge, and then the rest will be absolutely fine. So you'll be able to sort of see that. There we go. You can see so that's really got a lot of glue on there. And then we can start piecing wherever we want this to go. So I'm just going to start with putting a piece on this side here. And we're just going to stick that to the side there. We're going to burnish afterwards on the back. And then I'm going to put another piece here, like so. And then I think we'll have another piece come in up there.
It's such a cool way to use the papers. I love this.
Yeah, and it is just, instead of putting them all in your bit box, just use them all to piece those pieces together.
Do you know what's crazy for me watching this as well is the fact that how they do work together really well, because you look at how very different the designs are.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it works
so
perfectly.
Different. And it does, it just makes that beautiful patchwork.
Yeah.
Now, because I've run out of my scraps, all I'm going to do now is trim that down.
Yeah.
So just like so. And then we're ready with extra pieces to just pop them on as well. So we're just going to go round, trim those off. If you want a really good edge, just use your guillotine. And then that last one, like so. There we go. And then we can turn those over, and then we can start to use those again.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we're just, in fact, I'm going to put a piece up here. Like
this is a cool technique to do with any of your scraps, really, isn't it?
Honestly, get your bit box out and just trim yourself some scrap pieces and start to just paper piece them back in. Yeah, absolutely. And they look fabulous. It's just a really cool way to be able to do it and to use up your scraps. And then I think we'll put one more of that one. In fact, I'm going to use, let's use this one up the top there. So we're just going to place that there. That will be our last one, and then we'll just trim that down. And then you've still got pieces that you can carry on using till you run out. So there we go, that's your good way of using up all your scraps. And what I really love about these papers, Ben, is the fact that you get different designs, but they all match, like you say, they work well together.
They do.
So I'm just giving that a really good burnish down on the back. That will make sure that my glue will go into all the fibres of that card, and then you've got a really unique background. And the great thing about this, unless you copy the design, every single one will look different when you do them.
Yes.
And to have a textured card like this, where you've got some that's flock, some that's shiny, that UV is just amazing. So it's really nice to have that textured surface. And then when you put it onto your card, you've got that white edge all the way around to create your card. So we're just going to stick that onto our card, and then we're going to do some stamping with those sentiments. And I would say use this on the inside as well and create toppers that you can use. So we're just going to place that. In fact, I'm going to turn it that way. There we go, because that's the right way.
The more I look at that, the more I love it even more. It works so well. It is like you've created a patchwork.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've tried to
brilliant.
be a little bit mindful of the colours I've used. And in fact, let me just grab the colours, because there are so many in here that will work together. Because if you think this one, and this one are all blues.
Yeah.
So your blues are going to work together. You've got this one, this one, this one, this one, which have all got your greens and yellows in them. And then you've got loads that have got this beautiful coral colour in them, which is just stunning. So loads will work together. But actually, this one and this one are going to work really well together, aren't they? So these two. And even add a navy into that one. It's just going to look amazing, because you've got almost that slight grey in there as well. So yeah, they're all going to look absolutely beautiful to do. Now, what I have done is I've created some toppers. So I've used just a piece of pearlized cardstock in some green, because that sort of picked up the green in here. And then I thought I would use my nesting dies, my heart nesting dies, and I would just cut my heart out to go onto that one. Now, so then I thought which ink pad to use. So I've used my Duet ink pad. I don't use my Duets enough, actually, and I really like them. And what I wanted to do was do some heat embossing. But I couldn't find the exact colour that I wanted. So I thought, well, actually, my Duets will add as a heat embossing as well, because they stay wetter for a bit longer, which is why they're a hybrid, because you have got water-based ink and you've got an ink, like a chalk-like finish in them as well, which means they're a little bit wetter for longer. So all we're going to do is take our sentiments and let's I'm just going to do, let's have Sending Thoughts and Prayers Your Way. That will fit right into there. And you can pick, there's so many to choose from, Ben, and that's the nicest thing. So whenever you can't find those right words to say, look on this sheet and you have them. I think that for me, having a set like this in your stash is just a great stamp set to have, because they are those cards that we find the hardest to do, but it's really easy when you've got the right set of stamps to be able to stamp with and use.
I also think some of these, if you look, caring thoughts are sent to you, thinking of you. There's certainly sentiments in here that you could send to someone perhaps who wasn't feeling very well as well.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of
and
scope.
Also there's a with love sentiment as well. So that can be on anything. That can even be on a wedding card.
Yeah.
So yes, there's lots that you can put onto there, which is going to really be just nice to send. You've got caring thoughts are sent to you. That could be if you're ill, couldn't it? If you're poorly.
Yeah.
So I'm
always
just
in my thoughts
sure.
again, just as a nice card to send to somebody just because.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just beautiful. So while that's still a little bit sticky, we're just going to dip into our pot. So don't even need to take that out. And then we're going to do a little bit of heat embossing just to make that a bit shiny.
Thank you, Pat, who says, I've just received my Sympathy stamps and I'm very impressed. I love the sayings. I unfortunately do have to do a card for next week, but I also love the cross and the lilies for Easter. Yeah, we were saying that, weren't we? You've got scope with the sentiments, but then you've got also scope with the images as well. The tree, the cross for Easter. You've got flowers in there. You've got the dove, so the peace symbol that could be used, as I say, for confirmation cards, christenings. There is a lot of scope to use. you don't want to use this obviously a lot. You want to pop this away. You don't want to be making sympathy cards, but there is scope to get this out if you just do need a beautiful cross or a beautiful image of a dove or a beautiful kind of saying just to cheer somebody up. So there is a lot of scope. And lots of people are saying how much they love these papers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They are gorgeous. I know they were very popular the first time round, and I'm so glad that they're popular this time around as well. And I mean, popular is probably the wrong word, but I think it's just the fact that there's not very good sentiment stamps out there for sympathy cards.
No.
So to be able to do a really comprehensive set of verses and stamps as well, when we think about the tree that's on there, it's beautiful, the cross, so many lovely ways to do that. Yeah. So all we're going to do with this one is going to pop that onto here, like so, and then that will go onto our card. But what I've also done, I've done another piece with some other scraps here, so you can see that's totally different. We're going to place that on the inside of our card just to make that decorative as well. So let's just stick that one in. And then let me just grab that one, pop that in there, like so. So we've got a nice decorative inside. And then I've just got another one here which says, "May the love of your family and friends surround you." And we're just going to place that on the inside. So we've got our sentiment on the outside, and we've got that beautiful sentiment on the inside. And then you can always use this side or the back to go on to write your message. Although you don't need to write a lot then. I think the words say everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the easiest or nicest thing, not the easiest thing to do. And then we're just going to place that over on this side like so. And I'm not going to use anything else other than those beautiful papers, those gorgeous stamp sets. And I think that says everything, doesn't it? And there we go, it's the inside, and then we've got the outside as well.
This week's number 3, we go back to Wednesday for a launch which you guys absolutely loved, and how brilliant to celebrate the good times, Easter, with the Celebrate the Good Times Showstopper collection. £56 or $58.40 platinum price on this. And the great thing about the Showstopper was best value for money deal, and you didn't get just the one, but 2 paper pads included as well. I'll show you these paper pads first up, and then I'll show you some of the cards which the team have done, because they're brilliant. What I absolutely love about this, again, is 36 single-sided sheets in here. And all sorts of different designs. Some, yes, very celebratory papers, like here, like a confetti cannon that's just gone off, but then you've got some more generic papers in there as well. So a really handy paper pad, and I think it's something that we're doing really well at the minute as far as our pads are concerned. We are bringing you lots of different designs that you can use with the collection they come with, but then designs that you can kind of pick out and use across other collections as well. So you can see there lots of different designs, lots of patterns, lots of florals in there, and you'll get that twice over within this particular collection. And before I go through the stamps and the dies that you're going to be getting, this is the kind of thing that you're going to be making with this collection. So celebrating the good times, you're going to get all the dies to be able to create these houses. So, you know, celebrating the good times might be a new house. I think it's so cute that you can create one little house or indeed create a whole little village. Celebrate the good times. Give somebody a medal. Oh, that one's obviously for me. I don't know who would have made that one for me. I'm probably ready for Father's Day. Best dad. You've also got trophies in there as well. So again, number one son, could be for a birthday card, could be for you know, one of the kids perhaps who's just passed an exam potentially. You've got bunting in here too, and you'll get all of the dies to be able to create the sentiments, and indeed you've got numbers in there as well. So that's super cute, and this one's lovely as well. Maybe you have got someone who is moving away, maybe going on the holiday of a lifetime. You've got everything in here to be able to build and create that fantastic plane. So that sort of whet the appetite a little bit. But for this price, you've got ultimate personalisation. So you've got your alphabet dies in there. Those are the ones that you saw on the bunting. So you'll use those potentially with the stitched edge with the bunting dies that you've got here. So again, you can place those onto the different shapes of the bunting and create your own personalised products, and you even get all of your stitched edge numbers in there as well. So a fantastic set to have just for that point. Now, you saw in card form that you have got the opportunity to be able to build up your own aeroplane as well. All the detailing dies there, even down to the little windows as well. You've got your trophy in there too. So again, you're probably going to be using lots of your glitter card and kind of like your metallics there as well to create that really cool trophy. You've got your graduation cap in there as well, and also the scroll. So for anyone perhaps who's just graduated university. Then you've got the house die set. So you saw that in the first two cards that I showed you there. Great scrap busters as well, these. You know, these are sort of the size that you can get all those bits and pieces at your bits box and create projects with. And then you've also got your medal there too. That one could almost also double up as a little stopwatch. Yeah. You've also got You Did It, which is all of your stamp sentiments as well. So things like cheers to you, reach for the sky, you did it, follow your dreams, sorry you're leaving, bon voyage, make a wish, good luck, first job, graduation. So you can see the sort of things, the sort of good times you're able to celebrate with this kit. And don't forget, if you go for the showstopper, you get everything there that I've just shown you, plus you will get 2 of those paper pads included as well. A brilliant, super versatile, super usable collection to celebrate the good times showstopper. And it is this week's number 3. This week's number 2 is a collection which was back in stock on Tuesday. It was an exciting show actually, launch party on Tuesday, because we had 2 back in stocks and a brand new launch as well. This one you guys were so super excited about, the collection which allows you to create really super cute projects like this, the Bookworm collection, jam-packed full of fantastic dies, fantastic stamps, and to create kind of more sort of grown-up cards, I suppose, like this, and then lots of cutesy cards as well, because you've got the Bookworm character there. All of these books you can see flying around this particular card you've got in stamp and die form. You've got the boy and the girl as well, who are kind of nose into their books, and you've got all of the other different bits and pieces in there too. This is a really cool effect actually, just like a masking technique to create a really big pile of books in there. So plenty in this collection. Once again, if you go for the Showstopper collection, you will get everything at the best possible price, and you get the paper pad, which, like the Celebrate the Good Times collection, is brilliant because the papers are so very different and nothing too bookwormy either about these. Just as we flick through, you can see that you've got, again, a lovely selection of papers for all sorts of different occasions. So yes, they will work brilliantly with the Bookworm collection, but you'll be able to delve into this outside of the Bookworm collection and make some brilliant projects with the papers in there. Once again, all single-sided, you're getting 12 different designs, 3 sheets of each, giving you your 36 sheets, and then all of the hardware in this set. Next chapter, so you saw that on the card just a few moments ago. You can stamp all these out, then cut them. It's the books. Some of them opened up, some of them shut closed. You've got piles of books there as well. That stack of books that you saw on this card here, created using this stamp set. And again, if you go back and watch the show's launches with these as well, you'll see the techniques as to how you can kind of mask that off and create a stack of books as tall as you want it to be. Full of adventures, so you get the little boy and then the little girl there as well in stamp and die form, reading their books, which is super cute. You've got your shelf, that book collection in stamp and die form, and then of course it wouldn't be the Bookworm collection, would it not, without the cute Bookworm. So you've got the Bookworm teacher there, and then the little Bookworm with his cute little glasses on. Tags in here as well, so that's super cute. You can create your own little bookmarks with these. You've also got that sentiment down there in stamp and die form, so you can read me like a in stamp, and then book as a die cut. There's your reading list. So again, a nice way for you once again to cut those out and create your sort of own pile of books. You've got the little pennant in there too. Chapter 1 is that beautiful open book, the little mug of coffee, and then you've got your stamp sentiment here as well, which you can pop onto that page. There's the glasses, the reading glasses, so you get 2 different styles, sort of quite Tom Cruise, I suppose, these maybe, in Top Gun, and these bit more Dame Edna. And yes, and then you've got your bookish era as well, which is all of your sentiments in stamp form, and there are loads there for all sorts of different people in your life. You've got Have a Novel Birthday, and loads more. Read books and drink good coffee. Never was there a truer word spoken. That collection, as I say, is back in stock, the full complete collection. So if you missed it on the first time around, maybe you didn't see it on launch party on Tuesday, here is your opportunity to pick it up. It is £60. It is $76 if you are a Platinum member, and it is this week's number 2. And this week's number one, it's been a stellar lineup this week, hasn't it? So what made it to number one? It is the Graceful Plumes Pick of the Week deal, which you saw on Friday with George and Debbie Robertson. Yes, the Barnsley connection. We're here in full force, bringing you an absolutely stunning collection. Wowee. Paper pads galore, linen cardstock, and a whole host of fantastic elements to create the most graceful projects. This is all about the beautiful peacocks, and as you can imagine, the colours in here are rich, they are regal, they are bright, they are bold, and the designs, again, absolutely stunning. If you've loved previously any of the collections that we've done with wildlife, think recently to like the Lovebirds collection, if you missed the launch of this on Friday, this is something you are going to be wanting to snap up, absolutely. The images are incredible, once again, plenty of snippability, and what's nice is we always do with our paper pads, we give you the options, we give you these more sort of illustrated A-sides, and then on the back, we strip things back just a little bit, so you've got the opportunity there to snip into these, stamp into these. If you want to get your stencils out and, you know, create a little bit more, then you can. But there are 36. I mean, look at the colours in there. So vibrant, so warm, so beautiful. We give you 36 sheets in here, double-sided. And again, what's really nice about this collection is that you've got all of this repeated in your 6x6 pad as well. So plenty of play, plenty of scope, and a really stunning, elegant, vibrant paper pad. That is your 12x12. The 6x6, as I say, is just a shrunken down version of what you get in your 12x12. And what's so brilliant, again, is that we give you the linen cardstock, which is going to match up absolutely perfectly with the colours that you've got in your pad. 24 sheets here. 6 colours, 4 sheets of each, and as always 250 GSM. Look at these beautiful bright bold colours, and we can do the test. We can sort of just fan through that just a little bit. We can open up one page and we can see what matches. Look, absolutely perfect. Look how everything matches up beautifully there for you. We just do this so it makes it nice and easy for you to be able to get this collection out, know that the cardstock's going to match up perfectly with the papers, and you don't have to go scouring around your craft room to look for card that will, because we've already done it for you. So all your papers, all your linen cardstock, then take a look at what you are going to be getting as far as your hardware is concerned. If you want to go for these individually as well, if you shop the day, you'll be able to see all the individual elements. This one is called Beauty and Elegance. So you've got those 3 absolutely fantastic panel dies. Again, use them separately of each other, cut them in, cut them out, create triptych effects with these 2. That is a stunning layout of dies. You've got edgeables in here as well with those beautiful lucky feathers. You've got, of course, the perfect plumes die itself, so all of the detail, and then the outer die there as well to be able to back that onto. Kind of feel like this is the sort of collection you'll be using things like your watercolour palettes with, things like your pearl powders will be coming out, maybe your colour creations powders as well. Look at that peacock quilt. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. The detail in that is incredible. Maybe things like your illusion film might be coming out with these as well. There's the proud peacock. So again, if you want to do some colouring, you've got that beautiful peacock in stamp form too. And then you've also got all of your sentiments. Strut your stuff, this one, with sentiments like be strong, be happy, be you, strut your stuff. And you've got more simple ones in there as well, which say things like, it is your birthday. The discount that you got on this on the launch on Friday is applicable for you once again today. So if you missed out, don't worry about it. You can still get that brilliant price, £72 for that collection if you're a Platinum member and you're here in the UK. If you're in the US, it's $92. And that is this week's number one. There we go, another brilliant top 10. Hopefully you managed to find something you wanted to pop in your basket this week. That is it from me. Whatever you're doing for the rest of your Sunday, have a brilliant one. I'll be back with Craig tomorrow for Easter Monday. I hope you can join us. Until then, bye for now.